glass doll would scare anyone. And so would green eyes. I'm not spooked by these. A few years ago, a married couple moved into a new house with their newborn son. One night, the mother heard the baby crying. So she got up out of bed, went to see what was wrong. Suddenly, the baby stopped crying. The woman thought that he must have fallen asleep again. So she went back to bed. A few hours later, she was woken by the sound of the baby crying again. The woman got up to check on him, and she opened the baby's door, the baby's bedroom door, and the crying stopped. She was shocked to see a young boy around 6 or 7 of age standing beside the baby's crib. He seemed to be stroking the baby's head and calming him down. Just then he turned and looked at the woman and suddenly disappeared into thin air. The woman screamed and ran to tell her husband. He got up and searched the entire house. There was no sign of the mysterious young boy. A few days later, the mother talked to her neighbors and happened to mention the strange incident that night. The neighbor already knew about it. She said there were rumors the house was haunted by the ghost boy. He had died of an illness in the 80s. He had died of an illness about 80 years before his body was buried under the house. The couple dug up the crawl space under their house was a pile of bones. The spot located exactly under the baby's crib. Okay, so we know someone was saying we were attached at the hip, but that's not true. That's why we were reading separately. I let him read first, obviously. And that wasn't even scary. My sister and I share a room, and we have bunk beds. I sleep on the top bunk, and she sleeps on the bottom one. One night, I crawled into my bunk. One night, I crawled into my bed and laid down. I felt something tickle my neck. I reached up to feel long, stringy hair. My pillow was covering them. They were long and black. I was horrified because nobody in our family had long black hair. In a panic, I threw them away from me, but the next morning I didn't tell anyone. The next night, when I was lying in bed, the same thing. I felt something sticking into my back. At first, I thought it was a bed spring. Then I pulled the cover back to see a old rusty pair of glasses. In the morning, I asked my parents and my sister if one of them was playing a prank on me. When they all said no, I began to get really worried. On the third night, I did not find anything, so I was terribly relieved. But in the morning, when I was making my bed, I came across a yellow pair of dentures, and they were still wet. This creeped me out, and I threw them out the window. The next night, as I was about to fall asleep, I felt something brushing against my cheek. I open one eye and get the fright of my life. An old woman leaning over me. Her eyes were bloodshot and bulging out of her skull. Her face was wrinkled and pale, and her head was completely bald. She wanted to know what I have done with her things. In a quivering voice, I told her I threw them away. The woman turned and walked away. At the door, she stopped and stared at me in a raspy voice. She said, "I will be avenged." Okay, that was weird. Not. Personally, now since it's come to preference and creepy, I personally think this one should get it. There was an old couple who hired a new maid to help out around their house. The wife had a huge doll collection. The maid was expected to dust them once a week. So once a week, the maid walked in the room where the dolls were stored. She looked at them in disgust. She hated dolls. While she was dusting, she came across a particularly strange doll. It was a talking doll. It had a cord in its back. The maid was interested and pulled the cord. The doll said hello. The maid pulled the cord again. I love you, Mom, as the doll said. The maid put the doll back and continued cleaning. A few weeks later, while dusting off the dolls, the maid accidentally knocked a doll over and shattered it as soon as it hit the ground. The old woman heard the sound and went to investigate. When she walked in the room and saw the doll shattered, she had a very sad look upon her face. The maid saw this and quickly said, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to break her. I won't do it again. The old woman looked down at her sad, broken doll and told the maid that she could only keep her job if she promised to be extra careful around the dolls. And the maid agreed. The next day, the old couple left the maid alone and went out to run some errands. The maid was in such a bad mood, she neglected the dolls. While she was sitting in the kitchen enjoying the couple's fancy chocolate, the maid thought of a victorious idea. She slowly made her way to the room where the dolls were kept. She thought a moment about how sad the old woman would be about her doll. The maid picked up a doll and said, she must really, as that the old woman was about her doll. The maid picked up a doll and said, she must really love these dolls, and threw the doll on the floor. It shattered and the maid smiled. She loved the feeling of breaking dolls. Something about the shattering sound pleased her. She threw more dolls onto the floor. She was still in her doll-killing rage when the couple came through the door. The woman ran to her broken dolls. She looked up at the maid with a baleful expression and asked, what are you doing? The husband, seeing his wife upset, immediately told the maid she was fired. The maid, collecting her things, left an even worse mood than before. She was so angry that later that night she snuck back into the couple's home. Knowing they'd be sound asleep, she crept into the kitchen, found the biggest knife she could, and made her way to the bedroom. The next morning, the maid returned to the house and acted like an innocent bystander and told the police she worked for the couple. She played the sorry victim that had lost good friends. She told the police that the old couple were loving and nice, loving, nice, caring people, and she had no idea why anyone would want to kill them. At that point, she slowly walked into the house, saying she wished to make sure no one had hurt the old woman's precious doll collection. When she got to the talking doll, she picked it up and pulled the cord. "Hello," it said. She pulled the cord again. "Why did you kill my mama?" The maid looked horrified. "What did you just say?" "Why did you kill my mama?" asked the doll. The maid looked shocked. She kept pulling the cord. "Why did you kill my mama? She was a nice mama. I loved her very much. Why did you kill my mama?" The maid stared at the doll. She could not believe what was happening. "You killed my mama," the doll screamed. The maid threw it on the ground and ran from the house. The next morning, the maid was found dead in her bed. In her arms was the talking doll. When the investigators pulled the cord of the doll, on the doll's back, it kept repeating, "She killed my mama, she killed my mama, she killed my mama." Was there any way I actually could have mentally prepared for that? The answer is no. There's no way you can mentally prepare for any of the stories on the website we are using. Also, you're probably going to have a lot of ads to deal with. I'm going to need to drink something before we continue. What kind of people think horror stories are stupid? In summer 1987, a girl had just turned 13 and found out she was pregnant. So after the baby was born, she realized she was too young to be a mother. So she decided to put her baby in the freezer. A few years later, she met a nice man and got married. She felt ready to have a child, so she took the baby out of the freezer and heated it up in the microwave, but it was already dead. Okay, I'm the one who's always mentally prepared for this stuff, and not even I am mentally prepared for this stupidity. Two brothers were sitting in their bedroom one evening. Suddenly, they looked up at the ceiling and saw a yellow spot appear in the middle. The boys watched in horror as the yellow spot grew larger and larger. One of the boys ran up to the attic and opened the door. When they turned on the lights, they screamed. There in the corner stood their father, and he was peeing on the floor. Anyways, good night from all of us. Hope you guys have wonderful nightmares. And if you're wondering why I keep getting stuck to the phone and can't do nothing right now, it's because someone had to get a drink and decided to get all over the phone as well. Lava is very clumsy sometimes. But she was mentally preparing herself for the frozen baby thing. Ugh. Even I couldn't have mentally prepared enough for that. Oh yeah. Let us know if there's anyone else you want on the channel. If you have any game request or story request or even quiz request, we do quizzes too.